Good day, everyone. I'm Ivan, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone to today's webinar, the CMS Outlook, Emerging Trends and Upcoming Changes, DME, Wound Care, Diagnostic, Labs, and beyond. I want to introduce our presenter for today, Nicole C. Emanuel and Melissa Gibson. Nicole has devoted more than 23 years of healthcare litigation practice with a focus on Medicare and Medicaid litigation, healthcare regulatory compliance, administrative law, and regulatory law. Melissa Gibson is a senior associate attorney at Nelson, Mullins, Riley and Scarborough LLP. Her practice focuses on defending businesses, organizations, and individuals in healthcare, employment, and commercial matters. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Nicole and Melissa.
Well, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. And you are listening to Emerging CMS Enforcement and Audit Trends across DME, Wound Care, and Diagnostic Laboratories. Now, here are the learning objectives that we plan to go over during this session. We're going to review the stages of the Medicare claims review and appeals process. We're going to identify common audit triggers and scrutiny trends with durable medical equipment, wound care, and diagnostic laboratories. We're going to highlight compliance controls that can detect and correct risk signals early before an audit letter arrives. And lastly, we're going to discuss strategic responses to overpayment determinations, including record building and appeal positioning. All right, today's roadmap. We are going to look at Medicare audit and appeals overview, then sector-specific hotspots, DME, wound care, and labs, and then response and defense playbook. So the transition, start with the audit appeals framework so later examples make sense in context. Let's discuss how Medicare audit and appeals how you appeal these.
That gives us a good context of the Medicare audit and appeal landscape. Now we'll dig into specific areas, DME, wound care, and diagnostic labs, and what are hot trends, hot topic trends, and red flags in each of these spaces that trigger audits and further appeals and overpayments and things like that. Even where claim documentation is otherwise complete for DMEs, billing patterns and operational characteristics can independently prompt audit scrutiny. Another thing that happens and is a characteristic of DMEs that creates high risk and targets are their marketing arrangements. So we'll move on to wound care now. We touched on DME. Let's talk about some hot topic trends in advanced wound care. So this is important. Right now, wound care audits are rising. They're on the rise. There's surging scrutiny in this space. And why is that? Let's talk about, first of all, why that's happening and get a sense of that, and so we can look forward and be prepared for high scrutinized audits. Okay, so let's look at some triggers, some wound care triggers in an audit. Wound care is an extremely hot topic right now. LCDs and Medicare requirements, there are tons and tons of things that providers need to think about when they're documenting their wound care. So moving on finally to diagnostic labs. So what is required of labs for reimbursement? Let's kind of break that down a little bit because this is a very hot topic right now. The lab responsibilities versus the ordering practitioner's responsibilities. That being said, if you are a lab, it's going to be expensive, obviously, to defend any extrapolated overpayments and appeals down the road. So at least in the front end, here's some necessary lab documentation packets that could be helpful, to compile for each patient that you're testing things and submitting the test for reimbursement from Medicare. Here are some audit risks for providers and suppliers across all of those three spaces.
The audit response roadmap from records request to resolution. Audit defense playbook. You want to win the record. Audit defense playbook. Applying the framework. Common themes in current cases. and DME, wound care, and laboratories are definitely common themes for the government. So the key message is across all sectors, documentation, operations, and governance move together. All right, takeaways. Know the life cycle and deadlines. Recoupment timing and appeal posture can change quickly. I hope that you all enjoyed this webinar and learned something.
This is Melissa. I hope everyone enjoyed our webinar. Again, it's important to keep a finger on the pulse of these hot topic issues in high scrutinized areas, Medicare providers and suppliers, and to hire a lawyer if you get these audits, or to review your compliance protocols to make sure that you're protected from enforcement actions and extrapolated overpayments and other consequences related to these areas.
Thank you, everyone. That was Melissa Gibson, and I am Nicole Emanuel, and we are both attorneys at Nelson and Mullins. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole and Melissa. That concludes the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now and have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You both have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.